Celtic have once again been outclassed on the European stage. Fans and pundits alike have been quick to point out that the huge financial gap between the two teams had a huge bearing on the result. But isn't this ironic, given the fact that the other 11 Scottish Premiership clubs would love to have the resources available to Celtic? I spoke to the former director of Sky Sports Scotland, Paul McKenna, on how he thinks this gap can be bridged.
Someone who has a large knowledge of the Scottish game, what initiatives are the SFA taking to bridge the gap between Celtic and the other teams in the league, both on and off the pitch?
I think they should be looking at investing in youth football and trying to get teams to be as competitive as possible and get the best players. I think they would answer that by saying, they would answer it and say, it's not our job to focus on what the competitive nature of the league is. You know, I think there's a million different other ways you could look at that. The league itself would say that's our domain and we should be asked about that. I wouldn't say. I think often in Scotland we confuse what is the Scottish Football Association's domain and what is the league's domain all too readily. And for me, the Scottish Football Association should be concentrating on getting as many talented footballers into the clubs, and not even at the clubs, at schools and youth clubs and all these kind of places, and at their special academies. That's what they should be focusing on, getting the best teams onto the international side.
Do you feel that the clubs themselves can make the league more competitive and give themselves a platform to improve their own positions?
I think they have to look at so many things. I think the whole setup for the leagues needs to be really, really revamped. I always feel that in Scottish football that we have a great history, and sometimes we hold on to that history far too dearly, when actually we could be looking at other leagues and saying what is it they're doing. But there are so many things about why do we have so many professional teams? Why would it not be better to have one professional team from Angus that is able to attract 10,000 people and perhaps be able to pay players better wages, rather than have 4 wee clubs that with the best one in the world will never compete at that level. So it's a great question, but there's so many answers to it. I don't think there's one right. I don't think it's going to be a one answer fixes all solutions. But yeah, I think competition can be developed in terms of the structure, in terms of the club structures, and also as I spoke about earlier, about how you invest into the youth players.
Celtic's resources simply aren't generated from their European exploits. Their sellout crowds every week show that perhaps filling out the grounds is the best way for clubs to improve their own positions. Anthony Evans, UWS News.